Hey guys, what's happening? It's Bill with KeystoneWeapon.com. I'm shooting this video based on some comments I got and some emails and such that wanted to know what kind of components were in this particular gun, and I'm going to do my best to try to show those to you. And then in the description field down below, I'm going to try to put a list of everything that I can remember that's on this particular firearm. This is my Rock Island Armory 1911, chambered in 9mm, that I occasionally shoot IDPA shoots with, and it's probably the gun that sees the most rounds out of anything in my safe, just because it is 9mm and it's cheap to shoot and really fun to shoot. This is a 5-inch full-size gun. I know I shot a video on this gun before, but I've made some changes to it. There's also some things that make it easier for me as a new to being a lefty shooter. Most of you that know me, that have followed my channel for a while, know that I was involved in a traumatic accident. My arm's all messed up, and my right hand used to be my strong hand, and I shoot this left-handed. So this is a 5-inch full-size gun, and take it off my little thing I made here. The gun's safety checked. It's empty. There's nothing in the chamber, and it is safe to manipulate. So the magazine for this gun is sitting over here, and that's one thing that I did want to mention is in IDPA it's more of a 10-round game, so it's nice to have 10-round magazines. This is not a 10-round magazine. This is just one of the factory ones, but I thought I would mention that. So this is a 5-inch tactical, or at least that's what it started as. Now they have all these different names and all these ultra match this, that, and the other thing, and they changed around all their names, and I'm not even quite sure I fully understand them yet. You probably know them better than I do. But this started as a tactical. So originally it had a different slide on it. I decided to switch to the TCM slide for this. I happened to have one that was able to be fit to this frame, so I fitted. I got a nice tight fit on here. Really the only difference with the TCM slide is it's a little bit lighter. So the cycling rate's a little bit different, and the way that I spring it's a little bit different. It's a flat top slide, and it is milled for the low profile target sights, the Bomar adjustable LPA sights, which I really like on this gun because they give you a really nice big wide flat surface that's way far rear on the particular firearm. So as far as differences go, I'm shooting a factory barrel. This barrel's got, now at this point, as far as I can calculate, over 20,000 rounds through it, maybe a little bit more, maybe closer to 25. But I've really shot the crap out of this thing and allowed a lot of other people to shoot the crap out of this thing in the last, a little bit of time. So as far as like modifications go, so it's got the VZ grips. These are the VZ Operator 2s. These are actually stolen off my 10mm. I really liked them, so I put them on this gun. I love VZ grips, man. You gotta have good grip, especially for me. Like I've said it before and I'll say it again, I sweat like a hooker in church. I wish I had some checkering done on the front, but I don't. I do have these serrations, which are very sharp, and I really like them so that I can get a really good positive grip on the gun. It does have the Ed Brown style extended beaver tail. This is the factory beaver tail. It does have ambidextrous safeties. You can see that my safeties are all rounded over. I really like them rounded over because they were quite sharp from the factory, and that allows me to, be able to engage and disengage them really easily without like ripping my thumbs apart. I have an STI hammer. It's using a factory firing pin stop. The spring in there is probably a Wolff overpowered firing pin spring because they come with like basically every recoil spring you buy. So, like if you buy springs from Wolff, or whoever you buy springs from, I don't really care. But Wolff usually throws an extra power firing pin spring in there, and I usually throw them in there just because. So it's got the standard plastic STI style mainspring housing in it. I'm fairly certain that I have a lighter mainspring in this. I also stole the magwell off of my 10mm as well, so this is just a Rock Island part, and I have like little EGW screws, but who cares? They're just screws, I like the look of the hex heads better. I do have an extended, and I'm not sure if this is Ed Brown. I'm going to have to double check this before I put it in the comments, but this is an IDPA legal extended magazine release, and this is where my Lefty stuff begins. So as a righty, you have the luxury of being able to mag release with your right hand. Now my right hand doesn't work like your right hand probably does, so I have to eject it as a lefty. So if I were to put a live magazine in here, you would see it the way that I actually eject my magazines. When I'm holding my gun, I'm webbing it up high, I'm flagging the thumb, and I'm either indexing my right thumb on the side of the gun or up near the slide, and being careful not to ride the slide though. And I can actually release it right here. So I can release and kick my magazine out really easily because this is a little bit extended, so you know, my finger's over here, so let me try to put the camera over here. If I can reach around here and just press this button, you'll see my mag comes flying out. So let me just double check this weapon again. It is clear. So another thing as far as lefties go, and this is something that, you know, some righties do this too just for aesthetic reasons, but I put on the extended slide stop. So mine has one of these extended slide stops that goes back just a little bit of a ways here, which as a lefty is kind of, it's a real pain in the ass because there's no way to let the slide go forward. But if I needed to, I can actually let the slide go forward on this side with my index finger. Personally, I don't do that. Typically, when I do reload, I'll just pull it back and let it go. Like, I'll just slingshot it. So that's really not something that's crazy important. But what I did want to show you is that as a lefty, you can see that this is actually flat over here. So when I'm flagging this high, and I'm getting my palm in there to grip it, if I do put my finger down on the frame, I'm not going to accidentally push my slide stop a little bit or put any weight on it, which can cause your gun to prematurely lock open before before your magazine's empty. I don't know if you've ever had that happen or you've pushed yours out just a little bit, but I did that. All I did was milled it down just a little bit and re-blued it. But I basically took off the hump that's normally on there and made it flat, which is kind of nice because then my thumb has somewhere to index and I cannot push it out. The only thing about it being flat, and I beveled the edge just a bit, is that it can be a little bit of a pain in the rear end to get back in there because it's not pointy like a regular one would be. You know, sometimes it takes a little bit to get it to align properly. But as far as the rest of this gun goes, it's fairly stock. Like I said, I like this extended mag release as a lefty. I like this as a lefty. And I like having my ambidextrous safety as well. I have a Dawson Precision front sight on it. Dawson's really great because you can pick from a lot of different kind of sights that they have, a lot of different cuts, a lot of different heights. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Whacking my camera here. This is one that I just fit for this particular gun, and it is a green fiber optic. They always give you like a red and a green, and I recently have been switching to greens. I hate green for shooting in the snow, but I love it for shooting outdoors once it gets up to temperature here in Pennsylvania. So I have an STI hammer and an STI sear and an STI disconnector. Nope, I lie. Just kidding. I have a Rock Island Armory factory disconnector in it because it works just fine. I do have an STI polymer trigger in it, and the reason for that is because my trigger is fairly light on this particular gun. I need to get rid of some weight so that I don't have the inertia to give me any trigger bounce. So these are a very, very light trigger. I have it on several. I have several of these triggers. I'm not sure that I love them, but I do like them, and for the price, they're a very good deal. I'm actually not sure exactly what this trigger weighs in, but I just happened to notice that my my pull gauge is over here, so we're going to give it a whack and see. So remember, when you're doing this pushing your beaver tail safety, you're going to be like, what in the heck? So I'll just give it like, oop, yeah, that doesn't work too well, does it? 2.25. Let's try again, because I kind of slipped on that one a little bit. I think it is around there somewhere. Yeah, 2 pounds 9 ounces. So it's like a 2 1/4 pound trigger. So, which is something that I like. I like to shoot light triggers. I did the trigger work on this particular gun using one of these Ed Brown jigs and my knowledge of tweaking the springs. I believe this has either a Wilson Combat or a Wolff sear spring in it. I'm one of those guys, I really don't think there's any magic in a lot of springs, but I do like a spring that's cut very nice and cleanly, and I think that Wilson and Wolff both do a really good job of that. You might have a different favorite spring company. Awesome for you. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. You can see, and I'm going to lock this gun open because I don't like to point them at anything. My barrel crowning, Arnell did that for me, I believe. I had the barrel crown just because I like it. It looks nice. I'm running a factory full-length guide rod in it. As far as springing on this one, I think right now this is running a 10 or a 12 pounder. It just depends on what loads I'm shooting, so I'm careful to keep an eye on them. I have everything labeled. I'm also running the EGW bushing in this. I really like EGW stuff. It's made in Pennsylvania here, and I was able to fit this bushing to this particular firearm. Like I said, I'm using the factory barrel. I don't have a cart in it or anything like that. I would like to get one, but honestly, for the kind of shooting that I do, I'm not shooting bullseye with it or anything. So it's more than enough for me to be able to shoot this. As far as accuracy wise goes and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm trying to do stuff while I'm on camera. It's kind of messing with me. Frame wise, pretty much factory. I've tuned my ejector just a little bit, so you'll see my ejector angle is just a little bit off of the normal straight angle. You probably see it better from that angle, and that's just really so it throws my brass right where I want it to go. And the rest of it's it's an Armscor Rock Island frame, so it's a good little frame. It runs great. I really like it. You can see there's my top end there. Everything's all nice and smooth and everything. Not like anything really needed to be done to this gun from the factory. It shot great, but I like to play with stuff. My bushing fits quite tight that I put in here. There's basically almost no barrel movement as far as that goes. This is an angle board bushing. However, because I fit it, I have to use a bushing wrench to get this thing out. I mean, it takes some serious force. I'm actually not even going to take it out right now because there's no reason to. There's nothing to show you under the hood anyway. But my bushing fits very, very well, so that eliminates any slop between the actual bushing and the slide, and it already came milled to the proper dimensions for the barrel itself. This bushing, I use these a lot. I use them on my 45, 9mm, 38 Super, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's basically in a nutshell the under the hood part of my gun here. Like I said, this can be a little bit of a bugger because it's not beveled, but you know, a little bit of wiggling and everything, and it'll go right in. Some people have asked, like, what are these weird gold bullets that I'm shooting? Got to be careful not to put an idiot mark on it, right? So a lot of people have asked, like, what in the heck are these gold bullets that I'm shooting? And these are my... Nope, that's 38 Super. Just kidding. Here we go. Here we go. These are the reloads that I shoot. These are lead bullets. I normally shoot just regular lead bullets, but I recently switched to these. They're Missouri Bullet small ball is what they're called. And they're like a little mini ball ammo, like you'd see in a 45. But they're powder coated with that high-tech coating. They're actually like really slippery. It's kind of weird. It's nice for reloading because it doesn't gum up your dies, and you also don't get a whole bunch of lead on your hands, which is, you know, not the greatest thing ever. Because lead ammo seems to be a little bit sticky. At least the bullets do for me. But these are really great. I've shot probably 6,000 or 7,000 of these out of here. Between me and some other guys I've let shoot this gun, and they're really, really pretty clean. I really like them a lot. So that's my gun in a nutshell. Love this thing, shoot it all the time. I have a 38 Super upper that I put on it. If you want to see that, that's on some of my other videos. But I use this same frame because I love the trigger on this and everything. It's all set up for me. And as a lefty, I like those things I pointed out to you there. So hopefully that answers some of your questions in the comments down, or in the description down below. Once I get everything uploaded, it may take me about 24 hours, but I'm going to try to put in there a list of all the stuff that's on it and like where you can get it. Mostly everything I have is from Brownells, Dawson Precision, or right from Rock Island, but you know, these are great little guns to shoot in the single stacks. I would recommend 10-round magazines, you know, just because it'll give you that little bit of an edge. But they're awesome for plinking, awesome for shooting, and I really like this gun. It runs like a boss. All right, guys, stay classy, shoot safe, and have a good one.